Hello, I'm Jerry Crow with the Pacifica Historical Society and today's host of Footprints of Pacifica, the show where each week we explore the lure and lore of lovely Pacifica, its character and its characters. The focus of today's show is a local fraternal organization, the Loyal Order of the Moose. They've been in Pacifica since 1961. To help learn more about the Moose, we have as our guest today, recent past Governor Paul Slavin. Welcome, Paul.
Thank you, Jerry.
Paul, let's start with a little bit about your personal background, how you came to California, etc.
I came, the first time I saw San Francisco, I was in the service, 1967. I was in the Navy at the time, and I loved it. It happened to be the summer of love, if you remember, I'm sure.
Certainly memorable.
But it was pretty exciting. I went back to the East Coast for a while after I got out of the service, moved back for good in the mid-70s, something like that. Got married, raised a family. We lived in San Francisco for 30 years or so. And then moved down here to Pacifica about 10 years ago.
Any particular reason that stands out in your mind?
My biggest reason is that I could park in front of my own driveway.
I like that one. And then, at what point did you get involved in the Moose Lodge?
Well, a couple of years after we moved down here, it was actually the first time I went into the building. It was where I had to vote. They used to set up the voting booths there, right on the main building. And it was the first time I was in the building, as I said. I looked around and it was quite impressive, you know. So I made some inquiries and joined up soon after that.
Any offices and jobs that you've held over the years?
Well, I was they had to reshuffle the organization a few years after I joined. The Moose is governed by a board of officers that are annually elected. There's 7 officers, I believe, and there's an administrator who stays on year after year and is in charge of the day-to-day operation of the lodge. And the administrator was changed. We needed to get some new officers in there, and I was asked to fill in as the junior governor, which I did for a year. That's when Rich Rusitano came in as the administrator. He's the administrator now. And the lodge had gotten into some financial difficulty, and we straightened it out. Rich straightened it out. Mark Johnson came in as governor. I was junior governor. We had a whole new host of slate of officers. And then the following year, as happens, I succeeded as governor. So I spent a year as governor. And now this year, Paul Lavarini is governor. I'm past governor, and Tim Meyerhoff is the junior governor. He'll be governor next year.
I see. So a lot of activity goes on there. Is any of it professional or all volunteer?
That's one of the first things that Rich did when he came back to save us from bankruptcy. Was everyone is volunteer in the lodge. Everyone that works there just works for free, and that way we're able to save some money. But there is a lot of activity. The Moose is primarily a social organization, a fraternal organization, with a Women of the Moose adjutant group. And we run our own dances, dinners. We serve dinners a couple of nights a week. We have, party nights and games and bus trips and whatnot. But the Moose is also a service organization. and we try to do as much for the community as we can. And we have always offered our lodge to many other organizations to help them raise funds.
I know you've been a great help to the Pacifica Historical Society.
We have it, and it's been our pleasure to do so. We feel greatly that the Historical Society deserves all the support that they can get.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Let's go into just a little bit about the organization, when it started, where it started, and what the emphasis has been at various times in its history.
Okay. Well, I believe it originally started in Kentucky around 1888, if I remember correctly. And it started primarily as a social organization. And it didn't get too big until, I guess, the turn of the century, the early days of the 20th century, the early 1900s. When it began to be promoted as a fraternal organization, but one that also had benefits for its members and helped members in need. And this was, of course, in the days before Social Security or any type of government assistance, basically. I mean, if you got in trouble or you're hurt, you're pretty much on your own. If you weren't rich enough to have, insurance was pretty rare. If you weren't rich enough or had a family that could take care of you, you were often in trouble. The Moose offered to help widows and orphans and members in distress. And that had a good appeal, I think, to many people. And it was spread by enthusiastic members throughout the country.
Just how do they implement that, the assistance they give?
Well, I'm not sure what they did originally in those days. It was on a lodge by lodge basis to a large degree. Mm-hmm. The national group or the headquarters of all the lodges early on instituted an orphanage called Moose Heart outside of Chicago. And soon after that, they also established a retirement home called Moose Haven in Jacksonville, Florida. And members or orphans of members were eligible for the Moose Heart, and members who were old and disabled or in need of help were eligible for Moose Haven. And that has been, we've kept that going. It's quite an operation out there. They, although I believe they don't have many more than maybe 500 orphans in attendance. It's a top-notch program, quite a big campus that they have there.
And that's supported by the various Moose Lodges?
That's correct. Yep. Every lodge sends donations regularly in there.
About how many members of the Moose would you say there are currently?
Our lodge, I know we have, in our lodge we have approximately 340 members. Mm-hmm. The Women of the Moose locally has a fewer than that, maybe 325, something like that. Mm-hmm. The national figures, it's hard to say. They're well over 1 million members in the United States anyway.
Oh, that's impressive.
Yeah. And I think at times it's been, a good bit higher than that. It seems that, or what I hear from older members, is that all the lodges were busier 20, 30 years ago. It might just be nostalgia, or everything was better back then or something, but they, and certainly in our lodge was busier to some degree many years ago.
I understand they're international as well, members in Canada, I think.
That's right, and Britain.
I see.
And Bermuda.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Like to
That'd be a good one to visit
that
sometime.
one someday.
Yeah. So, have they always been at the current location? I doubt that.
In Pacifica?
In Pacifica, yeah.
Originally, I believe in 1961, the lodge was started in Pacifica, and it was in Valleymar at that time, the old firehouse. We have the charter hanging in our lodge today, the original charter from Moose International establishing the lodge. Sometime after that, they moved up to Manor, across from the car wash up there by Manor Boulevard. And were there for a number of years. We came to the present location, and that was opened in 1983, I believe.
Well, that was a big project, and in fact, we plan to do a complete program on how that was brought into reality.
That'd be great. That'd
Yeah,
be
very
great.
interesting story.
Yeah, and there are certainly many others who were there that could tell that story much better than I could, of course.
Well, that's possibly, but well, we've got a film that has been made, and we're going to run it in just a few seconds. So it'll show something about the building and some of the goings-ons in there. I think we're ready.
I've been in Pacifica, but I didn't know anybody that belonged here, except one guy, and he sponsored me in. Well, pretty soon, I started getting to know a bunch of people, and we become friends, and over the years, I've made 100 new friends my own age. You know, and it's kind of a family thing. You know, they're like family to me. And my children can come in here, and my grandchildren come in here.
This is the main entrance lobby. This is our office over here. These are our past governors. I think
These are actually past governors of South San Francisco Lodge. We merged years ago, and South San Francisco closed, and then it picks up. This starts in this corner here. This starts Pacifica's earliest governors, and it continues, wraps around all the way around the foyer here and up the stairs, and continues on the wall upstairs, which is all the Pacifica past governors and senior regents. The women elect their own officers. Each year is a new senior regent.
if you notice on the upper line of photographs there on the far left-hand side is a younger Rich Rusitano.
Yeah, much younger.
Governor when?
I think it was 86, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while.
And it's really cool. And you know, we have our dinners on Thursday nights and Friday nights, and everybody comes in and has that we take care of. So that's kind of nice.
This is the original charter, dated January 17th, 1960. And these were the original members. Most of them long gone, but here, of course, is Nick Gust, who is still with us. This is a scrapbook. Very artfully done. In the beginning here, the first thing we see is the pictures of the first home, which is the Valleymar, the firehouse. And the second, it moved from there up to Manor, to that building. This was 1960 to 1971 in Valleymar, and then 71 to 83 before we came to this building here. Here's an invitation to the installation of officers. It's 1969. So these are not in much of an order. And as you can see, a lot of it are just newspaper clippings for events, parties. Well, here's stuff on the new home for the Moose, this building here. That's certainly before the landscaping was done. Here it's being built. Moose Lodge, okay, for the grand opening, Waterford Street. So this is in the Valleymar location. Just different events that were, whoops, cops hold gambling. King of the Pacifica Moose Lodge was abruptly halted early Sunday morning by local police. Police stopped the gambling at the Moose Hall when one of the Moose Lodge members turned in his lodge brother. It was an embarrassing scene all around for the police as well as for the 75 Moose Lodge brothers, their wives, and guests. Acting on a complaint by Moose Lodge member John Monk, M-O-N-K, 33 Greenway Drive, Fairway Park. Sergeant Charles English and Patrolman Bill walked into the hall.
Still there?
Oh, this is on the Anna Del Mar. This is the old place. They seized a full-size crap table, a roulette wheel, 5 blackjack tables.
Oh, really?
6 decks of cards, 3 sets of dice, and $329.
Was the original.
Yeah, right.
Lodge.
That's the old firehouse, right up there. Clubs are very popular. It's kind of early in the afternoon right now, but some of our members are here. And this was all also built by the members. The bar itself, back in the 80s, we were building. So yes, this is it's very much the heart of the operation here. We have the bar. As you can see, we have the large dining area. We fill the dance floor with tables. We serve dinner a couple of nights a week. Every Thursday night, we serve New York strip steaks for $12. And here Ping is actually cutting the steaks from the loin, as you can see. And those are beautiful, beautiful steaks.
So is it safe to say Thursday night's your most popular night?
Yeah, I guess so. Actually, Friday often runs a close second. Friday's kind of the blue plate special. One night of the month we'll serve a prime rib dinner. I make meatloaf once a month, usually the last Friday of the month. Plus we do fish and chips. It varies a bit, but it's always a terrific meal, rock bottom prices.
Which one's your favorite?
Oh, my meatloaf, of course. It's everyone's favorite, right? Oh, I mean, nobody eats steak like that when they could get my meatloaf. All of the labor that's done here, the bartenders, the butchers, the cooks, it's all volunteer. Nobody's paid, and that's because we're a fraternal organization, this is only open to members, of course, but that's one reason we can keep the prices as reasonable as we do. And we've got, but the only ones who get paid with tips, we've got a bunch of teenagers that come in and help us serve the food, wash the dishes, whatever needs to be done. We do a lot of fundraising dinners. Let me see. Right now, I know we've got one coming up for the Terra Nova marching band, and we're going to do some kind of Hawaiian style dinner with those folks. And the Boys and Girls Club, Michael Neal, who's a member here, our new council member, has been affiliated with the Boys and Girls Club for many years, and we're going to have a fundraiser for him coming up in a week or so, I believe, and that'll be the spaghetti feed, and we can feed thousands of people, I think, with spaghetti, good meat sauce, meatballs, garlic bread, and salad. And we can turn that out at a reasonable enough price that there's plenty of profit for the Boys and Girls Club. And that's the type of thing that we're very happy to do here at the lodge. There's a lot of different organizations we support in that way. The Little League has regular dinners here. Many local non-profits we share the lodge with. This isn't used that often down here. Members can use it when the upstairs is being used for some other purpose, for bingo or whatever. And there's the shuffleboard, the poker table. This is the game room that the kids use, at times when there's parties out front. And we use it as a conference room for our board meetings. Right from the beginning, we've always worked closely with the blood bank in San Francisco. Annual Kitty's Christmas party, New Year's Eve party. What's the date on this? This is December 1967. Here's a gala New Year's Eve party, $6 each. All you can eat and drink. Live music and dancing. These are different picnics they've had. Bus trips. Bus trip to Reno.
In 1992, Father's Day picnic at Pedro Valley Park. This is my wife and myself, my wife Deborah and myself, and my daughter Carly, and my niece. That was a friend's daughter, my nephew. We try to have a picnic, if the weather permits. We've used Pedro Valley Park quite, a few times, maybe half a dozen times over the years. Most of the time we just stay here now that we have horseshoe pits and we have a nice barbecue here. We have most of our activities here.
Well, that's an amazing facility. Obviously, you can do all kinds of things there. If somebody is interested in finding out more about the Moose, how do they go about that?
Well, I saw that we had our phone number up there. The number is 355-1540. They can give us a call. But the best thing to do really is just stop by. The lodge is open 6 days a week. We're closed on Mondays, and we're always open by 4 o'clock. Stop by and talk to any member, or there's usually a couple of officers around. We'd be happy to show you around and tell you what it takes to become a member, which It's not much. It's it's about $50 actually to takes
For
to
the
become
annual
a,
dues?
For the
Yeah.
annual dues are $50, and the lodge is yours at that point.
And the same number if somebody's interested in wanting to hold an event of some kind. Nonprofits are allowed to have fundraisers and so forth there.
Oh, sure. Anyone, any nonprofits or other, community groups should contact us there at the lodge also.
Yeah, I know we've held the historical societies. We've held dinners and doll shows, concerts. A great piano player, Bob Milne, has
Oh,
played
the
there.
Bob Milne concerts are just fantastic.
And we
there.
packed the place.
Yeah,
And we've had quarterly meetings there too, because that way folks get a little bite to eat while they're
Right.
taking care of business.
Right.
So it's a wonderful facility. We got just a minute for me to slip in the names of some famous moose members. It just tickled me to see some of these folks. Comedians Bud Abbott and Lou Costello were members. Ed Beard, middle linebacker for the 49ers back a few years. Ray Berry was a famous Baltimore Colts football player. Larry Bird, Boston Celtics.
Wow.
Then in the show business realm, Ernie Borgnine, Charlie Chaplin. Let's see, Jimmy Stewart, Danny Thomas,
Jeez.
presidents of the United States.
I don't know if we've gotten a president.
Well, they're on the list on the website, so I'm hoping they're accurate. Warren G. Harding, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and Harry Truman
Wow.
were mentioned. And then a lot of some other sports figure. Oh, Henry Ford, big industrialist. Everybody knows about him. And Rocky Marciano. Well, that's about all the time we have this evening, Paul. Thanks very much for being in.
You think it was the Moose Lodge that helped get those guys going, huh?
I think that's
Set
what
the-
launched
I
it. Yeah,
think-
it was the launching pad for all that.
Yeah.
So I do thank you,
I thank you.
and like to tell folks how they can contact the Historical Society if they have interest in finding out some more about our activities. Our address is Post Office Box 752, Pacifica 94044. Our website is pacificahistory.org. Our telephone number is 650-359-5462. And now we'd like to close with a line from the poet Longfellow. Lives of great men all remind us we can make our lives sublime, and departing, leave behind us footprints in the sands of time.